going to tell you right now what you have to know.
Perfect.
The facial prominences, right? There are 5 of them. Just know those, please. And you already have, yeah, I've got to throw in some stuff on the branchial arches, but okay, the first arch, the mandible and the maxilla. And what nerve? Trigeminal. Second arch, facial nerve, right? 7th cranial nerve. So just know that stuff. What I want to do today is I'm going to talk about, I will go through it really, really fast. But I want to say something else. And that is a bit more fun.
It's on the go, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And that's, okay, my research is in human evolution. So I'm just going to, we're going to cover the clinical stuff here, that's fine. We got that. But I want to tell you something else. There's a paper that just came out. If you look at the fossil record, what the fossil record tells you is that the normal occlusion for humans until 10,000 years ago was edge to edge at the incisors. I know. Edge to edge. That's the way it's supposed to be. All of a sudden, 10,000 years ago, we domesticated plants and we started cooking the plants so they were soft to eat. And you know what happened? Our mandibles stopped growing to the size that they were supposed to. So now we have an overbite. So our central incisors, our uppers, are over our lowers. And now we think that's normal. I know. We think but it's not normal. But our culture has changed all that. Here's a neat thing. There was just a paper published in Science, and it's this. There are cultures that still have edge-to-edge bite. And the cultures that have edge-to-edge are hunter and gatherers. They're out there doing the old stuff. Do you know that there are things called dentolabials that are certain consonants that you can only say if you can touch your upper incisor to your lower? One of those is a V. V. Another one is F. F. I'm not going to use the F word, don't worry. But I will say, try to say vegan without touching your lip. Vegan. It's really hard. And they studied and they looked at different cultures. And do you know that cultures that have edge-to-edge bite, they don't have F's and they don't have V's? Do you not think that's cool? So Neanderthal couldn't have said, F you. Which I think is kind of neat. Oh well, I know. It's another thing is, when we changed to agriculture, not only did it change our bite, but it also changed all our gut, and it also changed all the bacteria in our mouth. So if you look, they can now, this is truly amazing, they can look at dental calculus from humans that they find from 50,000 years ago. And they look at the bacteria in the dental calculus, because it's fossilized in there too. They have many, many more bacteria in their mouth than we do. We have reduced ours down to almost nothing in terms of species in our mouth. But you know what has happened in reducing all that? One of the ones that shows up is mutans, the cavity-forming bacteria. And that's why we have, suddenly at 10,000 years ago, the cavities go off the chart. So I only point this out because you guys are going to spend the rest of your lives worrying about these things. Well, why are cavities so important? I mean, they hurt, okay. But why are they so important? Why do you want to take care of a cavity?
So the infection.
Well, you know where the second favorite place for that thing to live is? In your pericardium. Meaning that if it gets in your bloodstream through an abscess, you can get pericarditis. And if you get pericarditis without antibiotics, it's good night Irene. So that's why cavities are so important. Now I have one other thing that I have no explanation for. but I want you to think about it. And if you have an explanation, you tell me. And that's this. You make a tooth. Got it? Fine. You're covered in enamel. Enamel's the hardest stuff you can make in a biological system. It's hard. It's brutal. Now you don't want it to crack, so you put dentin underneath it, which is more elastic. And that means that you won't crack your enamel because it has a little bit of give because of the dentin. Got it? Got it? Got it? And you've got, primary and secondary and tertiary dentin. Okay, fine, fine, fine. Then you got the pulp. Okay, in the pulp chamber you've got a vascular system. I got that. That makes sense because you got to keep the dentin alive. Makes sense to me. Why do you put a nerve in there? An exquisitely sensitive nerve in the middle of your tooth? I don't know. That's the dumbest design flaw I can think of. That is just silly. But anyway, I didn't have anything, nobody asked me when they designed the teeth. But think about that. Now, what are we going to do? I mostly want to talk about, what have I done? Yeah, let's get through it. Yeah, neurocrest, you've got it, right? You've got ectomesenchyme, the transition, right? Everyone just nod your head and make me feel good. Okay, thank you. We're not even going to talk about it anymore. I can't. I'll kill myself. Okay. So, you know what the maxilla is, and you know what the mandible is, and it all comes from the first branchial arch. You got that, got that. And the trigeminal nerve is what goes there, and the trigeminal is that nerve that you guys are going to be fighting for the rest of your lives. Got that. It works the temporalis and the masseter. This is just that, once again, the old story. We've got pouches, we've got grooves, we've got nerves, and we've got clefts, branchial arches. Know the 5 facial prominences, please. That's easy. We all know that when they grow together, they form the face. That happens between 4 and 8 weeks. They also form the palate. So the palate is formed by the maxillary prominence that grows together and form, these are palatal shelves. And they form the primary palate and they fuse in the middle. You have this piece of the front of your face, which is the medial nasal prominence. But you can, it makes sense. It all grows together, and that forms the philtrum here in the front of your lip. And it also forms the, God, why do I cannot remember this? What's that piece of skin again? The what?
Frenum.
Yes. The frenum? Yes.
It's either or.
And that's what forms the, your tongue has to drop out of the way, which it does because your mandible, as it grows, your tongue drops out of the way, and then you can form the palatal shelves, and that forms the palate. If you don't form the palate, then you end up with a cleft, which is bad, because because we're mammals, we have to suckle, we have to produce negative energy to do that. In order to do that, you have to have a hard palate. Hard palates are mammals. Reptiles don't have hard palates, but mammals do, and that's a consequence of our being able to suckle. That's also why you have a facial muscles. Those facial muscles allow you to do that, to create that negative force. Once you get them into your face, then you can have facial expressions, blah, 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 but that's the reason that they're there in the first place. That just shows the palate again. That shows different kinds of clefts, but what I want to get to here, once again, you can sort of figure out what didn't fuse properly. More pictures of the same thing, but I'm trying to, okay. One of the things you're going to be doing is when you start working on people's teeth, one of the companies that does, and I don't know which one, but one of the companies that does that dating thing on computer, yeah, I've long since don't care about that. But at any rate, they have, I mean, literally, they have tens of thousands of people. And they did a survey. And they asked the people that use the company, they asked them, what's the most important thing on a first date? You know? Really. And do you know, I know, when you see it on television, oh, I want them to have a good sense of humor, and I want this and that, and all that, blah, 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 blah. No, no, that's not right. The most important thing on a first date are their teeth. If you see somebody that has ugly teeth, they're not getting a second date. I'm serious. This is true. I'm not making this up. Why? Why would that be the case? There's a good reason for it.
Because the better the teeth you have, the more likely you are to survive.
I don't know what you said, but you don't have to repeat it. It's, well, again, we're going back to evolution. When you're picking a mate, you want to make sure they have a good genetic program. And symmetry is a huge piece of this. If you see somebody, and think about this, when they want to, in a scary movie, if they want to make somebody really scary, what do? They make them asymmetrical. Like Quasimodo, they make his eyes look weird and they make him asymmetrical. You know why you find that creepy? Because you would never mate with that, would you? No. You know why? Because his genetic program is fouled up. You want somebody's, you're looking for symmetry in their teeth. It means also lack of disease. They have good teeth and they don't have disease. You want them to have nice skin. You want them to have shiny hair. You want them to have clear eyes. And you want symmetry to their face. That's a really important thing. And I want you guys, that's what you're going to be taking care of, is trying to make people look good. And that's really important. So teeth are really important. And then what you're doing there is you're looking for someone that does not have disease, and you're looking for someone that has a good genetic program. That's what you're doing in a psychological sense. I'm not suggesting that you go, you know, I don't really like that blemish on your face, and I'm not going to mate with you. That's not the case. But overall, that's what's happening. So, if we take this a little further, and we look at a male face versus a female face. Now, what are we looking for? You are looking for things. And you know, the easiest way to think about this are movie stars. Yeah, movie stars. Why are they movie stars? Well, they're movie stars because they fit this profile. And that's why we like them. You can't be a movie star if you're ugly. If people find you ugly, particularly if you look like Quasimodo, there's no way it's going to happen. So, what is it we're looking for? Well, I mean, I look around this room. I mean, you guys, if I shaved your heads, I would not have, and I showed your face, people would say, that's a woman. They would not say that's a man. And I hope if you shave my head, I hope to God you wouldn't say, well, that's a female. Maybe, but so we're looking for certain things. And that's why we're talking about faces and facial growth. That's what I'm getting to this thing. I'm just not making this up. What? Okay, let's think about, go a step before we start describing it. What are males looking for in a mate? There's an entirely different, there's a different mating strategy between men and women. Because I hate to break it to you, which is, you know, The sad thing is, in terms of not just mammals, but mammals we're talking about today, in terms of mammals, who carries the burden? The women. Because they have to carry the infant, they have to gestate the infant, then they have to nurse and lactate for the infant, then they have to take care of the infant. You guys have the hard work. You really do. Us, as males, what do we do? Not a whole lot. I mean, I really hate to say that, but we're not really good for much of anything except sperm. Now, so we're looking for different things. We're looking for a healthy, but when you're looking for a woman, and the one I pick out, oh, this is my age, I know, you guys probably don't even know what she looks like. Angelina Jolie is gorgeous.
We know this girl. Yeah, we know. That's when you say that because I went to a cosmetic presentation and they compared the perfect ideal to Angelina Jolie.
See?
The facial prominences and like facial face and all that kind of stuff. Compare Angelina Jolie. But she's
You know, and okay, and think of a male. Think of it like a Brad Pitt or one of those guys.
yeah.
Oh, man.
It looks like Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Now, why is that? Well, because if you're a male, you're looking for a woman that is, number one, healthy. Number two, you're looking for a woman that's young. Sorry, guys. You're looking for, well, you're all young, who cares? You're looking for a woman that's young because if she's young, she can have more offspring. And that's what you're trying to do, is get your genes into the next generation. If you're a woman looking for a man, you're not looking for a man that's young. You're looking for a guy that can help take care of you and take care of the kid. That's the important thing, take care of the kid. So you're looking for two different things there. And then when does it occur? It occurs at puberty. You can't tell a 6-year-old apart from a male from a female. If you shave their head and take away the colors of the clothes or something, you can't do it. So it occurs at puberty. And so we've got testosterone receptors in our faces, males, and females, you've got estrogen receptors in your faces. So all these things occur then. So, when you're looking for a woman, oh, another trick here, here's another easy thing, cosmetics. Cosmetics. What do they do? It's a huge, if you think about it, that's a billion dollar industry. Who uses it? Women. Now there's another billion dollar industry that is only used by men. Pornography. There's a reason for these things, but that's a different lecture. But there's a reason for that. Okay, cosmetics, what do they do? You put stuff around your eyes, right? Eyeshadow and, I don't even know what it's called, but stuff around your eyes. Right? You do. Why do you do that? Why do you put rouge or some kind of stuff on your cheekbones? It highlights it. It highlights it. Because what do young faces look like? Babies. They look like babies. They have big eyes. And we choose women with big eyes, and women then use cosmetics to make their eyes look even bigger. And then we highlight the cheekbones and short chins. You don't want a big chin. So women in facial growth after puberty, their face from their lower face, from the bottom of their orbits down to their chin, is short. In men, it grows more. It grows down more. I'm sure Mark showed you this when you look at the mandible and maxilla. In men, it grows more. So men have longer, lower faces. And you want big foreheads. Big foreheads, babies. They look like babies. And look at puppies. Look at kitties. Same thing. You look at a kitty and you can't help yourself and go, look at the kitty. I mean, it's true. You know why? Because we've selected kitties and dogs and puppies to make them look like humans. And we just love that look. So, big lower face, long lower face. Square chin, round chin. big eyes. Not angular, it's a round face. So all of those things you can pick out. And not to mention, well, we're not Adam's apples, that kind of stuff. Males have an Adam's apple. Women do too, but it's not as so prominent. So men have a big chin, and our chin doesn't grow until puberty. And why does it grow? Because it makes our face look longer. So why is a longer face in a man an angular face? Why is it important? Well, I figured, why do men have beards? For instance, what does a beard do? Makes your face look longer. And it makes you look bigger and stronger. Yeah, I can't grow, I only have to shave once every 3 days. I can't grow a beard. So I kind of lose that on that. I'd like to think I'm a little more advanced evolutionarily, but that's not true. So that's the point. So let's just look at this. Okay, women don't have a square chin. It's a round chin. And they don't have a cleft here. Incidentally, that cleft that some people have in their chin, that's where the mandible, when it fuses, the two mandibular prominences, when it fused, it left a slight cleft here. And that's why males more often have a cleft, and that grows at puberty. But women don't have it. They have a rounder face. Males have a more angular face. They have a bigger mandible, a bigger lower face. And the idea is to make the face look bigger. And if you look at something like a Neanderthal, they have enormously big faces. And they have big brow ridges. We got rid of our brow ridges. Well, sort of. Some of us still have them. But males have bigger brow ridges. They have bigger nuchal crests on their back, and they have bigger chins. So it's a more angular face. And the eyes in men are smaller. The brow ridge that humans do have makes our eyes look smaller, and that women then have larger eyes. And again, a rounder face. Women have a rounder face. If you look at them, they don't have the steep angles. Men do have that more angular thing going on. And these are that's Homo sapiens on the right. That's us. But this is just to show that the other guys, our ancestors, had really big faces that stuck out in the front. And the males really stuck out, and they really had big brow ridges and really big lower faces. Well, we reduced that. And we pulled our faces in, so we no longer have them, but we still carry that sexual difference, a dimorphism between males and females. Oh God, not that. So, what I just want to say, in terms of facial prominences, you guys have to worry about things like clefts and all that, but I also want you to think about why the human face looks the way it does. It's there for a reason. And it does look different. And so when you highlight someone's face, when you start thinking about changing the angular dimensions of their mandible, if you go into surgery and you want to do that, well, think about it. Think about what you're doing. And that you want it to be round in a woman, but you don't in a man, you want it to be angular. And you want it to be symmetrical. That's one of the problems when you look at some of the neural crest, what they call neurocrestopathies, that something goes wrong with the neural crest cells and they don't migrate properly, then you start getting things that are not symmetrical. And that's the one thing humans don't like, is we don't like asymmetry in a face. Now this is a new one. There's something called the uncommon valley. I don't know why they call it that. Does anyone know what that is? The uncommon valley is this. If you take, they just discovered this because of robots. If you take a human face and you mirror image it so it's exactly symmetrical, it freaks us out. We don't like it. Because your body, I mean, we want symmetry, but we don't want perfect symmetry. And that uncommon valley, they're now finding out when they make robots with a human face, they can't make them perfectly because it bothers us. So you have to add a little something in there to throw off that perfect symmetry. So anyway, that's what you have to know for the test. We'll have a, I'm going to do a quick review, don't worry. But not now, but later on I'll do one. Next time we'll talk about the brain, and that's, you got to know about the brain, and telencephalon and mesencephalon and all that stuff, but that's next time. In terms of the face, know the prominences, know first and second branchial arches, know ectomesenchyme, please just know that, you already do. Know temporalis, know masseter, know where it innervates it, come on, you already know that. Know where's enamel come from? Ectoderm. So know those sorts of things. Which, I told you last time about shovel-shaped incisors, right? Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
I think I did, yeah. Well, shovel-shaped incisors, that's all ectoderm. That same EDAR gene complex that codes for all this stuff, it's a shading ectoderm. Which is why Asians have dry earwax, and if you're not Asian, you have wet earwax. It has nothing to do with your reproductive fitness. Which is, if you do this, and you have your left thumb on the top, your right thumb on the top, who cares? It's genetic, it is indeed genetic, but nobody ever chose a mate on the basis of that, I hope. Whether your earlobes are attached or not attached, I don't think that matters. What matters is you're looking for other stuff, and this is just what's called pleiotropy. One gene codes for a bunch of different things. Tongue rolling. Can you roll your tongue? Who can't roll their tongue here? I mean, yeah, I love to watch people that can't roll their tongue when they try. And some people can actually do a quadrifoil tongue. Can you do that? Yeah, you can do that. That's really rare. But I don't think it's gonna.
Skills and qualities.
But I don't think it's gonna help you find a date. Well, maybe it could. I don't know. All right. Well, next time we're gonna talk about brains. So. Have a good weekend. I gotta
assert your genetic dominance.